Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Winter Forest. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe for similar video. And today's topic is going to keep working on React app. This is the last we left off. So from a coding test, and then I add React wrote down so I split a single bigger components to 3-page view. So you have a list view, and you also have the detail view. And in real life, the application won't be just simple like this. In real life, normally application autonomy will be like this. So once the application get larger and larger, so we don't like application components itself to do the side effects. So to API call, I will use redux-saga to handle it. And since I'm going to introduce redux-saga, so show you my project's autonomy will be like this one. So currently we only have a 2-page view, only have this part. So have a components and a 2-page view. One is the list view, one is the detail view. You already see. And I'm going to introduce Redux. And the redux-saga. Once you introduce Redux, then you have 3 components you need to know. So once you have a Redux, so it actually called a react-redux. So then you have a store. This is the store. The store we are carrying all components states. So the components itself won't have the state. They will get the state by using selectors to send it to them as a pops. Or you could direct in React hook. In here, actually, you don't need use connect. So you could use select, just select the state from your store. And for the side effects, don't need, and the components don't going to do side effects, and the components will make a reaction. So action will lead to side effects. Use redux-saga to handle it. Redux-saga listen to components for action. Here do the heavy job for you. Once redux-saga finish process, he say if I'm going to fetch the airport anything, you go into the third-party API, RESTful API, and they get it back. They tell the reducer, hello, I get this data back. Please update the state. State change. The select will push the data to the components. Components get a new flashed state. Then the components will reflect the current state to the newly refreshed state. So you get a new state. So the components will re-render it. So I'll just say, so what I'm going to do, number 1, I need to install react-redux. Number 2, I need to reinstall redux-saga to handle the side effects. Number 3, I'm going to install, it is called redux action. Redux action is a pure function. You could manually create it, just a type name with your payload. But I'm going to use this library to do it. So it is quite simple. You could look in what I did. You will find it very easy to follow. And another tool is called Redux Dev extension. It's for you to debug if this event is fine, the payload is correct, to debug this flow. And so just let's start it. So I'm going to stop here. I'm definitely going to rechange. Before I start the application, I'm going to refactor slightly a bit. You see, and I have a view. Each view have a separate folder contain it. But if you see my components, I put everybody in here. It is hard to identify. So I group them as folder per item, because each folder will have three related: airport card, airport test, airport card, and this have two. I have three: airport card JavaScript file, airport card CSS file, and the airport card test file. So I'm going to have a new folder, and I'm going to move this, you see, airport card inside my folder. I don't going to let it automatically change the path. I'm going to do it by myself. I have an airport card list and move airport card list related file to airport card list. Then I have the airport card detail. Once I changed, I need to also change this one. So did you see my airport card list not just over there? It's under this folder called airport card list. Same for airport card detail and for airport card. And in here, looking at see if I have a CSS. This node in here, they have under more folder, so it is this one. So coming out is here, coming out is here. Then you have this one. This for this airport card list. And the airport card list also need so have another components called the airport card. So I'm going to this coming out, then slash. It will be the index. Airport detail. Yeah. So this is going to work, and then I like to change this one. I don't like to call this is airport load. Instead of call airport load in here, I like to call this just airport. Sorry, not the airport. This app loads. I change it back to app, and follow most of real life projects setting and change this back to app. Since I changed the folder name, so I also need to change this one. And I don't going to change the bus in here. This in the view. Still have the view here. Yes. Then I change the name called airport. Once I did you see? So this is what I like the file structure to look like. And once I change the folder, make sure I make every path is correct. So I rerun it. See, it is still working. At the moment, it's still loading. First state is loading speed state. Then you go into the second state. And then you come back. We only have a 3 state. At the moment, just a 2-page view. I go into, so everything still working, didn't block. So we continue working on. So I go into, like I said, I go into introduce the react-redux and also use the redux-saga to handle the side effects. So I'm going to install the relative the libraries. No, install is successful, so it tell me I have installed redux-saga, redux dev extension, react-redux, redux action. They all installed successfully, so it is full library. You could go here also in your package.json. So they actually installed here. Once I installed, look at the diagram. Once you finish installed, I first need a store. So I have a reduce folder. You see, I have a store folder and a reduce folder, and also the saga folder. I'm going to create them. I like they sit separate inside the src file, but they are in separate folders, so easy to find the sagas in sagas. The store only have store store. The store one application only have one unique store. In normal most of the case you only have one file, but still put in a folder, and later on you could add a test file for them. So you could store two files, and also the reducer. How about you call reducers? Once I started the first one, and I'm going to also we have action, but the action normally, did you see here? And the action, any action change the reducer. So my action will sit along with the reducers itself. So I don't have a separate action folder. But every action, you see, components file action, redux file action, they will file the same action could be. So I'm going to have a constants folder to hold my application action constants. So application in in real life, you will have application, have some constants just for text purpose, or like the label and something for translator purpose. But you also have a constants, only the purpose, only for action. So different purposes. So I'm going to create a constants folder. And in my application, I definitely will have this action constants application. So these only hold the action constants. When you create action, you use, instead you manual hardcode, it will be in this one. Instead of application action constants, I'm going to call, definitely this is application, so just call action constants. Yeah, that is now all the files are currently, and now I start first one. I started my store, so I'm going to create a store. So the store I will call it just create a store. You also could say store file, how about just say store.js. And instead of just typing, I'm going just copy paste over there. And I will explain line by line to you what it is. So I'm going to start with the create a store, but instead copy paste, and just instead just write my code along with you. I just copy paste, then I just explain what I did for this one. And here, so I'm going to the store action. I need to get the create a store from, and I use the create a store and from the redux. So I get the pre-typed file, I copy paste here and I explain how you create a store. So I get a store, I change this will be my Redux create store. And I have the apply middleware. This is going to set up the redux-saga. Also, actually, your application not just accept one saga file. You also could create your own customer middleware. You also could apply in here. And here it is Redux Dev 2 extension. First, I'm going to input the related file. One is called create store and apply middleware. This for Redux Dev debug purpose. And here it is for the middleware redux-saga to set up. I will have a root reducer and root saga file. At the moment, I haven't set up yet. I'm going to set up. And then I have the saga middleware and also have the, then you use the create saga middleware, get this instance. And you have the saga middleware, you put in array. In real life application, probably you have, except have the saga middleware, you could have other middleware, like the sock middleware and anything else, or could put in here. And for create, this the function in my index folder are going to add it. So I have the store in here, and then I put the read reducer, also apply middleware. Remember, just use this wrap this apply middleware, so this one can be used for debug when you use have installed Google Chrome. So you could use this to see your the Redux actions working or not, or past the payload is correct or not. And this the saga middleware doesn't run. So before the application starts, the saga middleware runs. So you already have the root all over the saga. Then you return the store. The store will lap the app application. So when you go back here, going to do haven't do yet. So you go back to, you have the store. Then you go back to the app. Instead of put in here, I just put in here. So you're going to change your application to add this thing. Then your store will be working as a provider to give the then you import in here. Once you have the store, then you're going to have this. Now the whole application, you just in here you have one instance of this is called create store. And instead just render a React app, now you're going to render a Redux wrap this one. So you have the provider. So you actually also need input the provider and from the Redux. Then you have this provider, and the provider will give a store. So the app, not the site, just directly the app actually in here. So we just changed application. So the store is set up. So which part is done? So here part is done. So I have created the store, use this one. And I also created the saga and set it over there. I haven't created this. the redux-saga haven't created, but I already need this one as a provider, so wrapped this one. So all the component itself could use select to access the state, but at the moment the state is empty. So let's create the state. Actually, so since you already have a Redux store, so everything in the application itself, you no more hold the state. So just look at the home page. In here, and the side effects in here will move to Saga file. I will create a fetch Saga file, and in here, and all of this state will be removed to reducer. So we have an airplane reducer. So let's start the reducer. I will create with my reducer folder. The reducer folder is no. And in the reducer folder, I'm going to have a combined reducer. So in application, normally in this application only are going to have two reducer. One is the airport reducer, another one is the in progress reducer. But in real application, going to have more and more, just separate them, because don't let each component, each change state change affect the other. So have a small reducer, it is a good behavior. So I'm going to have an airport reducer and also have an in progress reducer. This file not existing yet, so I'm going to create them. So in the reducer, I'm going to have a folder called airports. In the airports, have a airports.reducer.js. Use reducer.js, because when I'm going to here type in search, I will immediately just find my reducer. And this, we also need a in progress.reducer. So I'm going to also have a reducer, also have an airport folder. In the airport, in the in progress folder, have in progress.reducer.js. And reducer is pure just a function, and they only accept two things. One is the action, and another one it will be your then reduce this go back to airport reduce. The reducer only accepts two parameters. One is the state, one is the action. And basically the action type you're going to do relative the change. You always, if it is default, just return default state. Otherwise, you always, in here, you always have this switch file. And you see, basically different type, you're going to do relative the change. You change the reducer. So in here, going to create a constants initial state equal to. All of this state, the fetching I change it to in progress will be in my in progress reducer, and I have the airport. So in my airport, I need the airport. By default, in here, airport by default is empty array. And then I have a has arrow because I'm going to make Ajax call. So by default, this has arrow is false also in here. The fetch, we only have a 3 initial state, and the fetch state will be moved to the in progress. So I'm going to change to in progress. So this is love for this one. I haven't filed any action, so I haven't defined the action. Once I define the action, I'm going to change it in here. Then I go back to change it in here. Now I have an airport reducer. And back to my airport reducer and back to in progress reducer. Yeah, do progress reducer even more simple. Go to the progress reducer, we could copy this one. So each reducer that will be similar. But instead of say airport reducer, you change it to in progress reducer. You export it out. In progress reducer, we only care about if it is in progress or not. My application starts with fetch data, so it's going to by default in progress is true. And I haven't built any action for my in progress. And once I build it, I'm going to publish this one. So enough for the reducer. So you create an airport reducer, haven't listened to any action yet. Also, you create an in progress reducer. Is actually you move this one, all of this action to here. So the reducer, then you import in here. So the airport, it is going to the airport. And this is the airport reducer, a little big. Reducer is set down, but I don't have a. So I have the root reducer, but I don't have the saga. Haven't have the saga yet. So I'm going to set up my saga. For set a saga file, just first you need to get the all and the fork coming out. Second thing, you actually just do you're going to do in my application at the moment only have one fetch airports. So you're going to do have a export the root saga and yet this file haven't created. So I'm going to create it. So how about put it in the airports? And we are in my saga file, in my application is quite small, you only have one saga, but normally if in a real airport or the application probably have a tickets, something else, booking information. So you just have a saga, you probably do validation. You all could put it in here. So in here I just put this is airports. And then inside my airports, I have this fetch airport saga folder. So now I have this one. So I'm going to export. I create a function export it from here. So I go back to my saga file and in here, I copy paste my pre-typing. I don't think you can see my typing. So in here, I'm going to have a saga file. No, I create fetch airports. Fetch this one, fetch airport will listen to fetch airport data, and they going to do fetch, so it's going to do this job. And inside here, when you do saga file, saga is a generator function, so you need to put this one, and also generate function you not directly return, you just say yet. I don't have this constants yet, so once I coming out from here action, I coming out more. So if I coming out, then go into the constants, then have the no constants slash action. So I'm going to create this action. So first I will listen this one, then I start my job. If I fetch succeed, and I file I yield put this one, this function once you do, and then reduce will listen. And once I say and finish it, you see I finish process, it means I going to successful. So I'm going to say change the in progress to false and the payload to false. And so I won't be in progress. And if I fetch the airport and have error, I just put the error in here. At the moment, I only say true. You could, if you need to show back-end validation to the front, you could put the whole error object to your application. So this is done, but I don't have this instant and these components I haven't added. I expect had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 constants are going to create this one. Then you go into the constants folder. I need this one, so I have the URL is what I move. It's going to remove from the home page, and here is the in progress. Here also is the second page. You will get the airport code, then you display it. And this is you one saga file. You start fetch either successful and fail. In here, when I do my constants, I start my edition. Normally, you could start your company name. Then this is the page. So this is the airport list page, and you start fetch. And here is the airport detail page. Then you go into here. The reason I put in here, because when you do debug, you will identify. You could see. You find this action, the name will appear over there. Then you could identify which page you're going to see have this bug. So it reduce your and for this one, I don't think I need it could be in any page, just do the in progress. So I don't put it over there. So that's it for the constants, and let's rework it, see everything is set up properly. In the index saga file, expect one saga call, and it's going to set here, and all the constants is set and extend. So all good from the setting. So look at here, this is set, reducer is saga set, reducer, did you see? Reducer haven't finished it because I leave the empty. I haven't listened to any action yet. So if I go back to my reducer, I have 2 reducer already set is pure empty reducer. In here, I haven't listened to any action, but actually I already create a few action. So just let's do it. We're going to update, for example, the airport reducer. And you definitely going to get a data successful or fail. You're going to update. If you get a successful, you're going to replace this airport to the list airport. So I'm going to import my constants. I will listen to this action. And one is called fetch succeed, one is called fetch failed. And so in this succeed case, in the succeed, you're going to return fresh. So the reducer going to change the state. So now you say, okay, keep there, or you copy the state and you update the airport to action to the airport. And how do I know it is just called action.airport is in the Saga file? The Saga file will file, you see, file succeed. Then the second argument, it is, so this is the tab, action.tab in here, action.airport, it is in here, you update it. And what happens if it's fail? If it is fail, this is by default create a React app already set up the link, and you have a duplicate, so it will show you error. And if it's set fail, so you action it, you're going to just put the error over there, so you have the error equal to, you see, the action.error. And otherwise it's going to be okay, return the default. So the first, okay, the airport is done, but what about the in progress? Yeah, what about the in progress? The in progress actually is in my in progress reducer. So I actually need a file called in progress. So case is in progress. Just the split function won't mutate the state. Instead, is get a brand new instance. Then you are create a new with this one equal to action.payload. And then you have this. That's it. So for the reducer is set up. So let's look back. Store set up successfully, and redux-saga set up, it is fine. Reduce, it is listen to action. I already listened to the action and it is set up. Now back to the components. Components going to working with this kind of thing. Yeah. So now go back to the components. The home page. In here, you normal fetch, normal this, you see, normal this, and also all of this don't need it anymore. Instead, you actually need to get this kind of a thing from the store. I'm going to change it here. And you don't use local state. So instead, you're going to import use select and this is from redux, react-redux. And you select this initial state put in here. Similar like this one, you're going to have a select Oh, you have a constants. So now you select, is could use select, and you could access the state. And in this current, you need a state.airports, and you actually need a state.airports. So this is airports, and you need the airports, and you also need has error. How do I know install the state? It is in here in the command. If you're going to the reduce in here, you can say in this, you say it is this one. Look like this is fade away. This color doesn't correct, and so in progress probably the file name is not correct. IMPROGRESS. Did I expose? In progress. The path not correct. Sorry, in the reducer this not correct. In progress reducer. Now the color is correct. I think I have a typing issue. In progress. And here you say, because you are using state, so first use state.airports. It actually is the whole object, so you could hover, you could see. And second thing, you need the progress. So no more is fetching. I instead of control. Okay, second thing just also need the in progress. Also from use select, and then you're going to access the state dot in progress, and then inside this in progress you have in progress, you have in progress, and so you don't have a fetching, instead it's called in progress. And if you have error, show this one. And so the state, you see this one is being removed by redux store, so you get the state from here. And in here you go into file action, actually you, so the first component did mount, instead make side effects call, you just file action to let the saga to do your job. So if you go into the saga file, so you're going to file action, let the saga to fetch, update the store, and then you could get the airport. Because if you don't make a saga to do the job, but the initial this is empty array, so this is still won't going to working. This won't going to working. You have an empty array, won't display the airport for you. So now I'm going to use saga. Use file action. Use dispatch. Use dispatch. Then you init an instance in here. And then actually you need over there. So you put in here. Once you come into here, you're going to dispatch fetch data. It's called dispatch. So you're going to dispatch fetch data. And this action haven't created yet. So should I name the fetch data or fetch airport data? I like the instead, so fetch data according to fetch airports. And this haven't created, so I'm going to create this one. I'm going to put in the action. So I'm going to input this function, and I put in where I'm going to put along with the reducer isn't. So it's in the reducer, and I'm going to insert the airports, because the airport action at the moment I don't have it. I'm going to create airports dot action. So I'm going to call the airports dot action. I haven't created, so I created a file in here, over there. So I'm going to create airports.action and like a pillar, so they could have a more action. No, yeah, I know, but the components itself. This is the actions. So I'm going to package it here. So actions. So I don't have it yet, so I'm going to create this action inside this one. If you didn't install the library in previous, you're going to just need manually just create a function, return a payload type and the payload. So at the moment, I'm going to have a exposed constant create action equal to create action, and since I installed the Redux action library, actually when you create action, it's very simple. Import this is the action, this is the library I created. So when I need to import the I create action. Going to fetch action is just this one. So if I create this one, did you see? Actually, I expect this one to fail, so I just say create action. So it's done. So action is also created. So if I go into this page, it's supposed going to work. Let's test it. Oh, it won't going to work. Haven't finished it. Sorry, which one finished? The reduce haven't finished. I finish it. Let me come back again. If the components, did you see? If components file action, then the action going to fail. Yes. So then, saga file going to fail. Saga file going to listen this one. So this is going to change. Then two reducer going to working. One reducer is progress reducer. Another one is called airport reducer. They're all going to work. Oh, it is. I have done the job. So going to yarn start. And I'm going to show you the action. Now I have a provide, I believe is provide index in here. Provide typing issue. Provide cannot resolve reducer. Okay. And cannot resolve reducers inside the reducer. Action is called index in the create store. And he said cannot resolve reducer, so just it's called reducers instead of reducer. Create actually define the level code. Sorry, create action. Now it's working. So the first page is still working, and the second page also going to working because the second page and have the local state are going to remove this one, go back to use the also do the same thing, and you could do it by yourself now. So it actually is exactly the same. Now go into the detail. Go into the history here. Oh, this. to null check before. If airport equal to, if airport not equal to not going to render, this is supposed to don't render because why? Because this is file the component did mount. So this is supposed to don't render before this one. Let's test it. Now it's going to work. Yeah. This is because in here, so if you direct going to here, the airport is run. So this actually, if you don't run, it will run before this code going to do work. So actually you need to check, you don't render yet. So if it is not, now you're going to render this one, otherwise you just don't render, or you just return now, it will don't render, then dispatch. Now everything is go back to work. Just come to here, just refresh it. So recap it. So we has add a redux store, add a reduce, add a redux-saga, and add move everything in the components side effects to either is saga call or just pure action call. So we have one saga call is the list page at airport list, and action which do not lead to status facts call also could directly go into reducer change. This is the detail page. So detail page don't need to make a status facts call, direct call the reducer, change the reducer. So make a select the airport and update the select airport, then the components is rendered. And that's it for this one. After this finish, I'm going to show you my next video, just containerize it. Because when you in real life application, so normally you put this file in a Docker containerize, you probably deploy it to scale up and deploy it to multiple environment to test it. So today's topic is mainly focused on redux-saga. I think that is for today. I hope you find this useful. For any question, oh, by the way, I have all of the code I have put in here. In my GitHub account, so in the repository, in the airports. So if you go here and see the commits, you could and up to here I haven't this color change. So up to here I haven't everything just React one components have a 3 status. So if this show this, if that, I set a flag, and this commit is changed to use React load, and this commit is today's demo, and to show how to working with the redux-saga, redux action, and also how you. By the way, I just like to show you develop debug pointer. So in here, so if you go into you have installed this one, you go into here, you could see the progress, and that is then I put in have a pre-fit over there, so you understand why I'm which item. So if you see the action, so this is the action and the payload. So you're going to see, and for this one didn't pass payload, and for this one I passed the payload. The payload is the code. So you could see we are going to debug. If you see this one have a bug, this not the expected payload, you could directly go into airport detail page, for example. In here, I don't need a debug. Just like you see the debug story for the Redux. So in here, you're going to make a code. You say, I make the AAH. If you say, oh, this AAS, then you're going to see what happened, why I make the code payload. So that is the good thing. Just put your page ahead of your consonants, so easy to identify the error. And that's it. Thank you for you today. Hope this found help. Bye bye.